As a professional artist, I have always been drawn to the challenge of creating the perfect still life composition. But let me tell you, it's not as easy as it seems. What may look like a simple image on the surface has taken me days, if not weeks, to perfect. In this video, I will be sharing my journey of creating a still life composition from scratch and the techniques that I, as a professional artist, used to bring the image to life. But let me warn you, it was not a smooth journey. In the beginning, my composition was a complete mess. I had so many ideas and concepts swirling around in my head, but they were scattered and chaotic. The result? A cluttered and distracting image with too many unnecessary focal points. And that's not all. The placement of the light source was all wrong, creating an odd and grainy look. I had to experiment with moving the light source across different angles to create the soft shadows that I desired. But even then, I was not satisfied. That's when I turned to the two principles that I always use to guarantee a dynamic look in my compositions. The first principle that I use is the creation of negative space. By carefully positioning the objects in the composition and leaving some negative space around them, I can create the illusion of distance and depth. The use of negative space in still life can also help to draw the viewer's attention to the subject by surrounding it with open space. This creates a sense of harmony and flow within the composition, making it more aesthetically pleasing to the viewer. But pay attention, because the tonal values of the negative space are just as important. I use lighter or darker tones to create contrast and emphasis within the composition. The second is the rule of thirds. By arranging three elements evenly within the composition, I create a sense of stability and equilibrium that draws the viewer's eye around the image. And I don't just stop there. I also experiment with different sizes of the elements to create contrast and emphasis within the composition. For example, I might use one large element, one medium-sized element, and one small element to create a sense of hierarchy and visual interest. Through the use of these principles and techniques, I'm able to create a still life composition that is both dynamic and aesthetically pleasing. My journey to create this composition was challenging, but the end result is always worth it. As I began the painting process, I carefully considered the composition I had planned out. I took special care to place each object in the appropriate location, considering the negative space surrounding them. With a paintbrush, I carefully sketched out the main elements of the painting. Once the sketch was complete, I started the actual painting process. I began by blocking in the midtones, starting with the darkest colors and values. This technique has several benefits. Firstly, it allows me to create a sense of depth and distance within the painting. By starting with the darkest colors, I can create a sense of foreground, middle ground, and background, giving the illusion of three-dimensional space. Additionally, working from dark to light can help me create a more realistic and lifelike image. By starting with the darkest colors and values, I can create a sense of shadow and light within the painting. This adds a natural and believable quality to the piece. Once I had laid down the initial layers of paint, I softly blended them with a soft brush to create an overall harmonious look. Then, I added all the fine details using some thick paint to create texture. As I continued to work on the painting, I found myself getting lost in the process. I allowed my thoughts and emotions to flow freely, feeling a sense of excitement as I saw the painting come to life. Painting a still life allowed me to connect with my creativity and express myself in a unique and personal way. As I am near the end of my painting process, I take a step back to admire my work. The intricate details and careful composition come together to create a truly unique and mysterious piece. I'm filled with a sense of satisfaction and pride as I continue to add the final touches. If you want to see more of my artwork, be sure to hit the subscribe button.